What's up, guys? It's been a super long time since I have last given an update about this car. Been busy with school, been busy with the coronavirus, been busy with a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's time to get to work and get this car back on the road. So last time, shit, it's almost like a year now since I posted a video, but last time we did the alternator. And the car, it worked. It started charging pretty good. But one thing that happened was on the distributor, because I have an upgraded or later gen distributor, and on these ones there's a ignition control module, and mine went out. And for the longest time I had no idea why I couldn't start the car. It would just turn over and turn over and turn over, but no spark. So I got that fixed. I didn't feel like I needed to make a video because it was kind of boring. All I did is take the distributor off and change the little module out. But this time I'm actually doing a bigger project today. Hopefully I can get it done today. And what it is the, you can see the power steering gearbox. You can see right here, it's really oily and there's a huge leak. So for the last couple of months, the way I would drive is that I would just top off on fluid every single time, and then it would just sit in the garage and leak away. Well, you can't really see the oil pan, but it's there. So time to get that changed out. I know, so you can get aftermarket ones with a quick ratio that are like a 9 to 10 to 1 turn or something like that. But those things are like $700, and I'm in college and I don't have that kind of money to spend just on a power steering gearbox. So what I did get is I think this is a 1987, maybe an 88, one of the later body Firebirds, quick ratio gearbox. So this is the Z box. Now this one is a 12 1/4 turn to 1 compared to the Firebirds like 15 or 17, something ridiculous to 1. Because right now I know with this steering wheel, especially since it's a big one, when you last drove the car, there's probably like a good almost like 4 to 5 inches of play. And I know it's not just the steering box, it also has to do with like all the original tie rods and all that kind of stuff, and all these bushings are probably shot and all that good stuff. But right now for the main part is that I'm going to change the steering box out, and that should give me a way better feel in the steering. Then we'll go after the all the other bushings and tie rods, and I plan to change them all out. Yeah, that's gonna be it. So what I went in and did, I just went, to AutoZone, got the same style hoses. It's pretty simple for the most part. All you have to do is just change out this one huge nut on it. After doing a lot of research, it's a weird size, but I just got a metric socket because that's basically the same thing. It ends up being a 34mm metric socket, and there's a little bit of play in it. So if you are planning to do this on an F body, I would definitely try to get the standard size. But mine, I mean, it went off pretty easily, so I got that all loose already. And I couldn't get that one off, so what I plan to do is that I'm going to take this one off, put this one on with the same, I think it's a pitman arm, and I'm going to bolt that in and then take that off and put the original pitman arm back on. And that way it should be a little easier, just because without that being bolted down, I don't have a big vise or anything like that, so I have to kind of make do with what is. Now I have a few upgrades. So basically everything up there is some kind of part for the car, and right there is some kind of part. So what I plan to do after this, after I get it the steering done, is that I have upper and lower control arm, and then I got me some 2A1 coilovers with springs, and I'll probably insert a picture somewhere when they're together. That's the spring. I think on the website it recommended a 450 pound spring, but from the forums I saw, with the Firebird, with my options, which are disc brakes, power steering, air conditioning, and automatic transmission, it's a little too heavy for a standard 450 pound spring. So I went ahead and got a 500 pound spring with the standard, just think it's one adjustable shock. But I have to hold off on that because what I have drum brakes on all four corners. I actually found a guy on YouTube who makes these brackets that can adapt a 2016 and up Camaro Brembo brake on it. So I got those on order from him, and I plan to get those in, get the right rotors and get the brakes and everything like that, and do the whole front end at once. So that's why all these parts are still kind of here right now. I changed the fuel tank. I don't think I mentioned that in the last video. I changed the fuel tank out, so it has a brand new fuel tank in there. Old one wasn't bad from the inside. After I dropped it, I mean, I would have thought it would have been rusted out or something like that, but it was fine on the inside. But now I have a brand new fuel tank. Let's see. So brand new straps, everything like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna give you a quick update on exactly, I guess, how to do this. So you basically just take this cast nut off, and then what you want to do is that you're gonna want to unbolt all the, undo all the hoses and take them out. And then you have 3 bolts that's holding the bracket in place. You have this one, and the third one is not this one, but it's one behind this brake line, which mine is kind of caked up with so much dirt you can't really tell, but that is a bolt right there. And then that whole thing should just drop. Oh, and I guess the most important part is actually disconnecting it from the rag joint. So some more info about this swap I'm doing. So this is, like I said before, this is the 12 and 1/4 to 1 ratio Z-box. I'm not exactly sure what they call it. I think it was because this is from a WS6 Trans Am Firebird. There's a couple of things that you need to do for the swap. So the first thing is that you have to find the box, which they're like probably $100 used. The second thing is that since GM actually used basically the same housing until like I want to say the late 90s or so, but the only thing that's different between this 68 and this 80, I want to say I think it was like 87 or 88, is that the splines are different, right? So what there is that you go on Speedway Sportsman, and they have an adapter kit for a new rag joint adapter kit. So you can use this, or if you want a better option, a more permanent option, or I should say more permanent, but a better quality option would to get a U joint and have the splines matching each side. Now the reason I didn't do that is because I didn't know that there was a U joint option, and I found this one first, and I got that, and it was much cheaper because I think these run for about $30 or so, and the U joints run for about like almost 100. And the second thing is that on that housing right there, they use metric fittings for the hoses, and obviously this is the standard fitting car. So what you need to do is you need to get an adapter for it. So even though it's metric, that's a metric housing, and this is a standard hose, it will still thread into the same holes, but you need to just get you in a little adapter, and this is part number 925122. I got it from eBay, and basically all this does is that these fit into, let's see, these fit into these holes right here, and then it will allow you to fit the hose into the metric housing. And that's basically all you have to do. I don't really know how I'm gonna get to that rag joint right there, but I will figure it out. It looks like I might have a little bit of space to go through on between the exhaust and the subframe there. We'll see. We'll figure it out. All right, quick update. I got it out. So it was a real struggle to get it out, just because of how big it was and where you have to how you have to take it out. So initially I thought I could take it off from the top, but the way it's designed is that it has a the top part of it hits this exhaust manifold, And now, depending if you run headers or not, I had to guess it'd probably be worse just because of how tucked in that is. That's probably gonna be the best clearance you have is with a stock exhaust manifold. Now, I guess the biggest challenge I had was taking the pitman arm off right there. And I was banging away with the hammer thing that would come off. But if you guys are gonna do this, if anybody's looking at this video for advice, just fork up the the $20 or so and get a pitman arm puller from AutoZone or O'Reilly's, in your auto parts stores. It makes life so much easier. Literally all you do is just slide it on there, and then take a impact or a I had a extension drive, what you call it, breaker bar, and I just twisted away at it and eventually just popped right off. And that was the biggest part that was holding it up, actually. And then once you take that off and undo all the hoses and everything like that, you should have enough space to kind of wiggle it out from the rag joint. Kind of rotated. It's gonna sit like this, kind of rotated down and out that way. And with enough wiggling and enough finagling, you'll get it out. Just as a size reference, this is the new one that's going in, or newer one. I shouldn't say it's new. And that is that's the old one that came out. As you see, they're exactly the same casing, exactly the same size. Literally everything's the same except for these splines. This spline is smaller on that side, but like I said, I have a adapter that already fits that. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Quick update with the car. This is now day 3 of the install. Basically everything I do takes 3 days. So I'll tell you what I did. So all right, so I'm gonna take it from here. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm explaining the difficulties I had installing the new power steering gearbox. And basically everything I had the issue with was due to the rag joint. Dimensionally, the new box and the old box, of course, they share the same casing, and the splines on them were pretty close to in length. Nothing that would cause an issue. The issue I was having is that initially when I pulled the when I tried to put the new one in, I already had the rag joint attached to it, and I was having clearancing issues between the spline and the older rag joint, and that was an error on my behalf. Generally, when I try to do these projects, I try to research as much as possible, but unfortunately, with older cars like this, I think a lot of the information was probably introduced to the internet in the early 2000s, and unfortunately, a lot of these websites are no longer up anymore. So, I was trying to do research, and I kind of assumed that I had to pull the steering column back a little bit, but I was trying to research how to do that, and I couldn't find anything. So eventually, I figured it out. Of course, you have the 4 screws covering up the panel, and 3 screws holding the steering column, but there's an additional 2 screws on the firewall that you have to unbolt, and then you're able to pull it out. So I actually had a friend come help me and pulled it out, and then we fitted the other half of the rag joint on there, and then that was a wrap with that. So far the car is holding up good, no leaks, no nothing like that. That was actually the biggest leak of the car, was the power steering gearbox, but everything runs pretty fine now.